In this video, I want to introduce you to the concept of using a simple rope, not just for jumping, but for swinging. Because believe it or not, swinging a rope can improve your overall function and coordination. And on top of that, it's just a lot of fun to do. So although I still jump rope, lately what I've been doing a lot is swinging a rope, where jumping kind of keeps you in a rigid stance, but it's great for cardio, don't get me wrong. Swinging involves fluidity of movement, and it's far more challenging for your overall coordination. Kind of like swinging nunchucks. And the best part of it is, if you think your form is suffering, the rope will let you know. It'll give you a good smack. So to get started, what you'll need is a double braided rope that has a length that when folded is about chest height. Right about the nipple line is good. And that length should include having a knot tied into each end to use as handles. Now, I always like to warm up before I use the rope, and I do that by first doing just a few shoulder dislocates, holding the rope wide on both ends and going from front to back and back to front. After the shoulder dislocates, I hold the rope with one arm and I swing it underhand, switching arms every few revolutions, and the whole purpose of this is just to sort of warm up my shoulders, elbows, and wrists and get the blood flowing. After I've done a few underhands on each side, then I turn and I do overhand, doing the same thing. Now, the first basic movement you want to learn is the underhand roll. You get started by gripping your rope with the thumb and index finger right behind the knots. Now grip it like a baseball bat with one hand over the other, and we'll let the pinky of the bottom hand lead this movement. Start off by doing slow underhand swings, a few per side before switching to the other side, just as I'm doing here. At first, this might feel kind of awkward, but just get in the habit of doing the underhand swing however you need to. And as you practice, you'll start noticing you can speed up a little bit, but try to keep it as smooth as possible. It won't be long before you're switching sides between each revolution, and you'll notice that pretty quickly you're able to pick up speed, keep it smooth, and you'll be putting your whole body into it. After a few practices, you'll be ready to start focusing on the full body aspect of rolling. So notice here that my knees are bending, I'm putting some footwork into it. I'm also moving my torso back and forth, rolling at the shoulders, flicking the wrists, and especially driving from the elbows. And remember that I'm leading this movement with that bottom pinky. As you get used to this, you're going to notice that you kind of fall into a flow where it feels like you're throwing uppercuts, making a figure 8 pattern with the rope. And then along with the underhand, you also want to work on the overhand roll, the other basic movement. So this is going to be more approachable for everybody, probably because of throwing a baseball, swimming, throwing punches, things like that. You're going to swing the rope overhand and ease into it like we did with the underhand roll. And just like the underhand roll, you want to focus on putting your whole body into it. Okay, you want to be rolling at the shoulders, focus on the footwork, feel the wrists, everything. Even your core is really tense here because you're flexing the spine, all right? You're engaging the abs. But one thing I want to mention that's different with the overhand is that you're leading with the top thumb. So it is different from the underhand roll in that aspect. Something else you'll notice about rolling is that when you really start being able to pick up speed, you can let the rope just sort of graze the ground on each side, and it creates this audible cue, and you can create a rhythm and kind of get into it, like feel the rhythm of your flow. And lastly, I want to explain the directional switch. This is a very basic switch, but it's important to learn. See here, I'm rolling overhand, right? Just sort of slowly and smoothly focusing on that, and then suddenly I turn a 180. Now I'm automatically swinging underhand. It's pretty cool how that works, actually. It just automatically happens. So when you do a 180, you'll just switch to the opposite. If you were doing underhand, you'll switch to overhand and vice versa. So as you start getting really comfortable with the overhand and underhand rolls, you can also start working on the directional switches to work on just rotating and changing direction. And I could show you some other things, but I think that's enough for now. We'll stop there. And I do want to give a quick shout out to my friend Michelle Aiden and thank her for introducing me to Timothy Sheaf, aka Human Timothy, because it's from Tim's teachings that I am learning the way of the rope, and I'm really enjoying it. And speaking of that, as I continue on this journey, if you want to learn more about rolling and how awesome it is, make sure you hit subscribe and stay tuned because I will share more. Talk to you then.